How you feeling?
Fine. Did you get in touch with Greg?
I did.
Okay,
I
good.
did. I did, man. So we spoke for a good while. He said he'll be out here in the spring.
Oh,
When he
okay,
comes, I'll
good.
make sure I contact
Yeah, okay, good, good.
you. Yeah.
Dr. Carson, we can't see you.
I'm sorry.
We can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me. What I'm supposed to do?
Put the camera down.
Oh, there it is. Now my big head comes into view.
Okay.
Am I good?
Yeah. I
Okay. So
know
I
you're
need to be able to point at some of this stuff. So who's gonna go first? I know it was somebody who was gonna teach people how to be healthy, and then it was a couple of how many people is three of us, four of us?
that's the usual you.
Okay.
Nutrition. I know you're busy. I know you have patients right now, so I want you to go first.
Okie dokie.
Okay, whenever you're ready, let me know. Next slide.
Okay, so first in general, I just want to make sure everybody knows that it's impossible to talk about everything relevant to heart healthiness as well as heart disease in 15 to 20 minutes. So we're going to talk about the big stuff, heart attack, because I think that's what everybody is concerned about, not having a heart attack. We know about congestive heart failure because we know about grandma who has swelling in her legs and can't lay down straight at nighttime. We can't talk about that. We know that some people have pericarditis. The outside of their heart gets inflamed, and we can see EKG findings, and we treat them with Motrin or something like that. We ain't got time to talk about that. We know that sometimes people shoot dope and they get endocarditis, in particular the right side of their heart where the valves are. And sometimes people need new valves, and we don't have time to talk about that. But what we will briefly talk about is heart attacks and what really is a heart attack. So before we talk about a heart attack, I wanted to be able to describe some of the symptoms so that we know what most importantly we need to do, and that is to be able to call 911. Don't say, I'm going to just drive myself over there. No, you're not. You should call 911. Men, we are typically stupid, and we do stupid things. And we think that our chest pain is due to that hot link we ate and we had jalapenos on there. That ain't why you having chest pain. And if it is, we still want to rule out a heart attack. You have shortness of breath when you was running and you was like, man, this is real different shortness of breath. You got out on a Saturday, you ain't been out in 3 months, and you got out and tried to run or ride your bike, and it just something like the shortness of breath was unique. It wasn't like when you was playing basketball and you got shortness of breath. This was a new yeast shortness of breath, and so that ain't what you thought it was. That could be a heart attack, so you need to call 911. So the things I wanted to make sure we knew before we leave is what are the common signs and symptoms of a heart attack, namely chest pressure and heaviness. If you feel a weight sitting on your chest, that is a heart attack until proven otherwise. And I'm talking about grown folks. I ain't talking about a 17-year-old girl who had lost her boyfriend or a 17-year-old boy who lost a girlfriend. They quit and blah, blah, blah. That's anxiety and a whole nother thing. Can young people have a heart attack? Sure. But 90% of the people I'm talking about is like 40 years on up, and they have some risk factors. So again, the signs and symptoms, chest pressure. Now, people who have diabetes might not have chest pressure. They might just have shortness of breath. It could just be dizziness. Dizziness that's unexplained. It could be a sign of a heart attack. Again, the shortness of breath. Again, weakness. Again, fatigue. But typically, the sign kunan, if you will, is chest pain, pressure, and it could radiate to your neck or your shoulders, and you usually have shortness of breath. If you have any of those signs and symptoms, and you know this is new stuff, then it's time for you to go to get it checked out and make sure that is not a heart attack. Okay, so that's the first statement. The risk factors of a heart attack, hypertension. When I was just reading an article today about how hypertension is the number one factor for coronary artery disease as well as strokes. So hypertension, that silent killer, we have to make sure that you check in. If you older than 40 And you need to go once a year. I just make it simple for me. Just go during my birthday and let them check you out from the head to toe, check your prostate. Girls, you know, you got to have all the stuff with your breasts. You got to do all the female stuff downstairs, pelvic exams, rule out all those bad things. So at least once a year, you need to go check in with your doctor. The risk factors we know to be diabetes, hypertension, tobacco. And I mean, tobacco, man, just takes us out of the game. We know tobacco. I mean, even in the hood, they call them cancer sticks. Cuz, give me one of them cancer sticks, right? So, I mean, if they know it in the hood, but people, they know it damn well that, you know, cancer sticks are what they are. Get rid of tobacco. Maybe a stove once a year on New Year's or something like that. But, you know, this smoking every day is definitely a bad thing. Another one is family history. If your mom and daddy and them had any of this stuff, then you at risk to have it. You know, we talk about cholesterol, good and bad, so you need to get those things checked out. So having said that, we're going to go to the first page so we can review just a little bit. I love anatomy, but we're just going to do a little bit of the heart so you guys can see what the heart look like and we can talk about it. So let me get through my side. I don't need that. Okay. From outside in, when you start talking about chest pain, these are all the structures that can hurt. So you see the skin, you know, people can get shingles. That could be chest pain. You see the muscles right under that blue structure, it looks like a vein. You see the pec muscles. Those muscles, you've been doing your push-ups. That could be new chest pain, especially if you ain't did it. Women, you make sure, babies need them and men, we love them, but you guys need them for life. And that is, make sure that if you have a family history of breast cancer, and you can actually look at that with this thing called BRCA gene, BR breast, CA cancer. If you have a family history, you can see if in fact you're at risk for breast cancer. Moving on down, the ribs. Obviously, you can get rib fractures, 12 ribs on the left, 12 on the right. We know that because we eat plenty of pork on the 4th of July, and you know you ain't going to have no seven rib slab. So there's 12 on the left, so 12 on the right. We know that the ribs are important. You can get fractures from trauma. Actually, one time I'm looking at a chest x-ray, and I missed this dude. He had one rib that was missing, and I didn't catch it. The radiologist caught it, and when they caught it, the dude had cancer that had metastasized to that rib and ate that whole rib up, and I missed it.
Oh my!
Okay, so another thing, rib pain. Then the covering on the lungs. You can see there's a covering on the lungs. You hear people talking about pleuritis. That's something your grandmama could diagnose. That baby had pleuritis. He's coughing. He got chest pain. And then you see the next slide. So the next slide, you can see the right hemithorax, the left hemithorax. And remember, this is flipped. You're looking at the patient you're looking at the patient is looking at you. So the right side is actually your left side on the screen. There's 3 lobes on the right, 2 on the left. All types of problems occur in the lungs. And now we're down to the heart in the middle, which is called the mediastinum. So real quick, real briefly, you see that there's a covering. That white thing is called the pericardium. You can get disease there. You can get inflammation on there. And typically you can see typical EKG findings that are noticeable on the EKG trace, and it lets us know it's pericarditis along with the other physical signs and symptoms. Next slide. So now there's a right heart and a left heart. A right heart and a left heart. The right heart pumps blood to the lungs. The left heart pumps blood to the rest of the body. Since the right heart only got to pump blood to the lungs, the right heart is weaker. It's not as strong. It's not as big. This is just the right heart. That open door on the top is letting you know where the blood comes into a waiting room. The waiting room is called an atrium. You see atriums in nice buildings when you go over to San Francisco. It's just a waiting room where the blood waits until it goes down into the bottom part of the heart, which is called the ventricle. The ventricles is responsible for pushing blood out. Right heart pushes blood to the lungs. Left heart pushes blood to the rest of the body. Since the rest of the body is bigger, the left heart is bigger. Next slide. So these are the valves. We were saying that you can have the covering of the heart causing pericarditis, which we can't talk about, although y'all know about it now, but you also see the valves. So now these are the valves of the heart. When you take the atrium, the back of the heart, if we just took it off, this is what you would be looking down into in the valves. And you hear people say, man, they told me my valve was bad and I had to go get my valve replaced. these are the valves they're talking about. So there's valves that go to the lungs, and one that'll go to the rest of the body, and the other two in the front are what we call the aortic and the pulmonic valves. So those are the valves that we talk about, and you can have valvular disease. Again, that's not what we're talking about. So let's get down to the money. Next slide. Now, this is what we're talking about. If you see all those red wigglies, and if I can't point to it, but you see 4 big tubes at the top of the heart there, and you see one of them that has a right blood vessel. Can everybody see that right blood vessel from the middle tube? It's red in color, and it's donated from the left as right coronary artery. Does everybody see that? The right coronary artery. You see that down there? I can't see. You see it?
Yeah.
Everybody, just put a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Everybody see it? Everybody see it?
Yeah.
Yes, and we can also see your cursor as you circle around.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I got you.
You got me. And
Yeah.
then you'll see the left coronary artery. Do you see that left coronary artery? It's on the opposite side of the right. See that? Everybody see the coronaries? Thumbs up. Everybody see them. This right here causes 80% of death for most people that have a coronary artery disease. This is where we come down to. We have, no, not yet. Those vessels, when you have diabetes, and you know when diabetes is just high sugar, we spoke about that. So when you have high blood sugar, just think about this. When you spill a sugary drink on the table, shit, I ought to wipe that up. Because when you wipe it up, it's sticky. And you be like, now you tell your kids, no, I need you to get that stuff up. The same thing occurs inside of your blood vessels. So if you have diabetes, now all this sugar is inside of your blood vessels, so your blood vessels get skinny. Now let's think about it. The inner side of that blood vessel is sticky. And then,
He goes straight for the yank.
huh?
So this is
Oh, and then if you smoke, the nicotine makes your blood vessels, they shrink like this. So now if you shrink the blood vessel and the stuff is inside of the blood vessel, right? Now, of course, now your coronary arteries are getting diseased. When you add cholesterol to that, you add stress, you add being black, living in the hood, you add all that stuff up, you live next to a train, your mama died, your uncle had HIV, all that stuff adding up and adding up and adding up, and high blood pressure, all those things together make those blood vessels, your right coronary artery and your left coronary artery, have disease. Now, when they have disease and you can't get blood to the heart, next slide. Next, yeah. So now if you can't get blood to the heart and supply the heart with its nutrients, you can't supply oxygen, you can't supply the glucose, you can't supply the proteins for your heart to live. And because the blood vessel is now clogged, then that muscle of the heart will die. So go back one slide. So you can see all the little blood vessels from the right coronary. That means all of that tissue over there might die if you got a right coronary infarct. If you have a left coronary infarct, then that's the willow maker, because this is the left side of the heart which pumps blood to all of the body. So now if you done messed up and got a big clot up there at the left coronary, or the LAD, see that anterior interventricular, or the circumflex that goes around, you got a problem. You got a problem. Okay, you got a real bad problem if you have a clog in that artery, and we just talked about the risk factors. Next slide. That's where you get the ischemia, meaning the tissue of the heart dies, and you can see where it can be just a little bad, and then the gray zone just is getting worse. And then when it's dead, the tissue is totally dead, and now your heart can't pump. You see this next, what it looks like a EKG finding that calls it an infarct, myocardial infarct. Next slide. So when you come to the hospital, to the ER, they will try to pass a catheter all the way through your artery to come back and take a picture of the artery by putting dye in it. That's when, somebody, they said, man, they put this thing up in my leg, and then they shot some dye, and then and then from the dye, they could show me where there was a clot. So that's what they call an angiogram. An angiogram. So you see the arteriogram there on the left-hand side, trying to show you the right coronary artery and potentially where there is disease. Okay. Let me see if they show it. Down at those little parts on the bottom, it's hard to see, but there's a ball. They have two balls. That darkening shows where the clot is. Next slide. So now this is a picture of, you can see where the left coronary artery came off and it had disease. And because it had disease and blood couldn't get to the heart, that tissue died. And that's what that black spot is trying to show, that tissue died. The EKG things we'll talk about next time when y'all finish medical school. You can see on the bottom slide, you can see that black tissue where there was a clot because there's no blood, there's no oxygen supply. That was another heart attack. These are all heart attacks. The black represents infarct. So the doctors are talking about infarct. When we go home, we tell them that we had a heart attack. This is the infarct, the dead tissue. Next slide. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat this stuff so y'all hear me now. So the people who have risk for this, increasing age, I'm just, as you get older, I mean, look at the people who own a house, when your house is 40 years old, then pipes in your house is going to start busting, rusting, and you need a plumber to come clean them out. And in fact, the way they fix the pipes in your heart is the exact same way they fix the pipes in your house. Either they'll replace the pipe, okay? They'll do a open heart surgery and replace the pipe. They take the little blood vessel that's inside your chest and replace it where there was a clog on the artery. Or the other thing that when your pipes get stuffed, they put Roto-Rooter down there. And so we have this TPA stuff that is made over at Genentech that costs $200,000 a vial. Multiply that times 750,000. Talk about making some money. $2,000 a vial times 750,000 patients who get it. So that's Roto-Rooter. If they scared and can't get you to a surgeon right away, then this is what they do. Sometimes they'll do both, meaning if you at a place where they don't have a heart surgeon, they'll put the medicine in and then they'll send you over to the lab as well to find a heart surgeon. So, and again, increasing age, the older you get, I mean, you got to make sure you try to keep them pipes clean. You can't put tobacco in them. You can't put sugar in them. You can't put cholesterol in them. And people at risk, males, testosterone, it might be good when you're playing basketball or you Ray Lewis hitting as a linebacker, but as you get older, that stuff don't help you now. And that's why women have less heart attacks than men. Heredity. If your mom and daddy had them, then that's a risk factor. Tobacco. I told you them was cancer sticks. They know they cancer sticks in the hood. Because give me one of them cancer sticks. They even say it. High blood pressure. That is the hidden disease that we never measure. Right? I mean, we just don't go. We don't feel it until you have a headache or a stroke or something like that. That's why once a year you got to go to your doc. Physical inactivity. Get your butt up and walk the marina. Go walk the marina. Even if you can't ride, you can go walk. My knee hurt and all that bullshit. No, get up and go walk. Get up and go walk. The couch is killing us. Physical inactivity. The couch is killing us. Obesity. I know my jump share ain't what it used to be, so we need to, make sure we keep that weight off. You keep the weight down to at least close to your 21-year-old weight when you was back slim and trim and could buckle your belt. Stress, alcohol, diet. I can't underemphasize stress. Railroad, somebody got shot, somebody over in blah, blah, blah. Grandma can't pay the rent, somebody getting evicted. That stuff is shown on this new book, The Case System, where she talks about the notion of stress killing us and how it's absorbed into our genetics. You can't drink too much. I know everybody read that article about red wine helping you a little bit. Next. And I think that's my last slide, right? The symptoms we talked about, chest pain, shortness of breath, heaviness. Sometimes it's just heaviness, cold sweats, nausea, lightheaded. Call 911. Don't be talking about, I'm going to just get in my car and roll down. No, you ain't. Call 911 so that somebody can come pick you up and check you out. Any questions? That's all I got. We good?
Anyone have any
Okay.
questions for Dr. Carson? Oh, let me see the chat.
For men. Nah, I don't know. Though that's what they selling. They selling that stuff so that you can have buff muscles and look good, and you can get an erection. That's what they trying to do. I'm telling you that stuff don't help your heart health. It does not help your heart health. So all that stuff is what's that baseball player? Yeah, Big Dog. He that's all that is trying to move to see if you can get buff. How many of them big buff dudes do you see around 90 years old? You don't see none, right? So you better try to get thin. And I'm trying my best, and my head too swell right now. But then you always say that little old man, that little old woman. It's rare that you say that big old man. Big people don't make it. I'm wondering, and you see Kareem is doing good because he's skinny. Jabbar, he's skinny. Okay, what do you think about? Oh yeah, intermittent fasting. Yeah, I don't think we need to be eating 3 times a day anyway. I know damn well we don't need to be eating 3 times a day. Just because you out of college and you got a couple extra dollars, you can go get you a boo-boo burger and then come home and eat all. No, you ain't supposed. Most times, truth be told, Malcolm X said that the best diet is probably one meal a day and maybe something else like. I'm trying to get there. I can't say I'm there yet, but I know you don't need to be eating no 3 meals a day. And intermittent fasting does give your body time to eat up all the sugars. Once you eat up all the sugars and they're low, then you start eating up the fat. That's the next big energy source is fat. That's what the keto diet is all about. Intermittent fasting is the same philosophy. You know, don't put too much. And my great grandmother, she lived to 95, and I asked her, "Well, Granny, how is it that you stay so thin and live so long?" She just told me straight up, with none of this science bullshit, no reading in the books, don't eat so much. Simple as that. Don't eat so much. And with the reason we have insulin resistance is because we too damn fat. Simple as that. You're just too fat. Type 1 diabetics is one thing, but type 2 is insulin resistance. Lose 30 pounds and see don't your sugar come down, your hemoglobin A1C. That's all it is. Don't bullshit yourself and go through. I'm gonna need 17 different medicines. Do that if you need be, but that's just a band-aid. The solution is getting rid of that fat. You get rid of that belly fat that's hanging all over your jeans, can't button your pants, your belt buckle, you can't button, you got to put a rubber band around and all that shit. When you get rid of that, and I get the diabetes go away.
Okay. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. I know you're busy, so we appreciate you always helping us out and joining us on these presentations.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Because that way I can say I had to work with y'all. I couldn't see the patients. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay, so who's next? So I can listen in too.
Yeah, we have Simone. Let me stop sharing here. We have Simone with BYA's Team Nutrition, who's going to go over.
Yeah, that's the most important person, the nutritionist.
Hi everyone. My name is Simone. Thank you so much, Dr.
Oh, I remember you, Simone.
Regina, thank you so much for coming in. It's just so wonderful to have you talk.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. I'm the nutrition program coordinator at Berkeley Youth Alternatives.
Okay.
I'm also a holistic nutrition counselor and health coach.
Y'all special people. What y'all doing?
Let me share this screen real quick. Can everybody see this okay?
Yeah, we can see it.
So I'm happy to talk to you all today about a subject that's very near to my heart, heart disease. So I'm going to go over some tips for nutrition to help increase heart health, as well as decreasing stress and to optimize sleep. So what we eat plays a major role in heart health and can impact an individual's risk of heart disease. Certain foods can influence blood pressure, triglycerides, cholesterol levels, and inflammation, which are all risk factors for heart disease. Protect and increase heart health through nutrition by incorporating nutrient-dense foods, high fiber foods, and healthy fats, and removing unhealthy and heavily processed foods. Improving your diet helps to lower the risk of heart disease in many ways, such as helping to lower high cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, insulin levels, preventing obesity, and improving the function of heart and blood vessels. Foods that negatively impact heart health. Highly refined grains and refined carbohydrates, such as highly processed breads, white rice, breakfast cereals, sweets, sugars, fried food, and fast food. Sugar sweetened beverages, such as soda. 1 12-ounce can of soda contains the equivalent of 10 teaspoons of sugar. Processed meats. Research shows that the worst types of meats for the heart are those that are processed. Processed meats are preserved using salts and other preservatives. Some of these foods include hot dogs, bacon, sausage, salami, and deli meats. Foods high in sodium, such as fast food and junk food, increase cardiovascular risk and can lead to the loss of calcium excretion through the kidneys. Highly processed foods remove many of the healthiest components, such as vitamins, fibers, and minerals, and high levels of processing destroy the food's natural structure and contain high amounts of sugar. For example, breakfast cereals. They produce high spikes in blood sugar. So not exactly something that you want to be having first thing in the morning when your blood sugar is at its highest. So just something to keep in mind. Highly processed foods and many ingredients that are unhealthy, such as trans fats, high amounts of sodium, fructose corn syrup, and other harmful sugars. Fresh fruit doesn't interfere with calcium absorption, and fresh fruit can actually help to curb sugar cravings. Oops. The liver is responsible for so much that goes on in the body. Every minute, the liver is filtering the entire blood supply. If something's damaging the liver, it is going to damage the endocrine system and the process of the body's metabolism. Sugar is damaging to the liver and also causes inflammation. So some tips on some healthy heart foods. I'm going to start off with leafy green vegetables. And including heart healthy foods as part of a nutritious, well-balanced diet can help keep your heart health in good shape and minimize your risk for heart disease. Leafy green vegetables such as spinach, kale, and collard greens. These veggies are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and are a wonderful source of vitamin K. Vitamin K helps protect arteries and promote proper blood clotting. Leafy green vegetables are also high in dietary nitrates, which have been shown to help reduce blood pressure and improve the function of cells lining the blood vessels. Research has found a link between increasing intake of leafy green vegetables and a lower risk of heart disease. Analysis of 8 research studies found that increasing leafy green vegetable intake was associated with up to a 16% lower incidence of heart disease. And a study in 29,000 plus women showed that high intake of leafy green vegetables was linked to significantly lowering the risk of coronary heart disease. Berries such as blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries are packed with important nutrients that play a central role in heart health because berries are high in antioxidants such as anthocyanins. Sorry, I always pronounce that word wrong, which are colored pigments that are responsible for the colors red, purple, and blue. And they're found in fruits and veggies and contain a potent antioxidant. These antioxidants are anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and anti-obesity effects, as well as prevention of cardiovascular disease. The antioxidants help protect the oxidative stress and inflammation that contributes to the development of heart disease. Research shows that eating berries can help reduce several risk factors for heart disease. Another study found that eating blueberries daily improved the function of the cells that line the blood vessels, which can help blood pressure and blood clotting. Avocados, one of my favorite foods to talk about. Avocados are a wonderful source of heart-healthy monounsaturated fats. Monounsaturated fats help to reduce the levels of cholesterol and lower the risk of heart disease. Avocados are also rich in potassium, and a nutrient that is essential for heart health. One avocado supplies 975 milligrams of potassium, and that equals about 28% of the daily amount of potassium needed. A research study examined the effects of consuming one avocado per day. The results found that the group eating one avocado per day experienced reductions in bad LDL cholesterol. Another study that included over 17,000 people showed that those who ate avocados regularly were half as likely to have metabolic syndrome. And just something important to note, eating potassium-rich foods help to protect the heart, but it is also possible to consume too much of this essential nutrient. Too much potassium can lead to high blood potassium levels, and you're at greater risk of this if you have congestive heart failure, or if you're taking medications such as beta blockers and ACE inhibitors. If you're at risk of cardiovascular disease, please talk to your doctor about how much potassium you should be including in your diet. Fish and fish oil is wonderful for many aspects of disease. Fish oil can help with lowering LDL cholesterol and triglycerides and raise up that HDL cholesterol. The VITAL study trial showed that people eating less than 1.5 servings of fish a week and take 1 gram of fish oil per day can decrease their risk of having a heart attack. 2 to 4 grams of fish oil a day has also been shown to have a positive impact on improving cholesterol levels. If you choose to take a fish oil, it is important to look for a good source and a quality one. Some great sources are wild-caught salmon and sardines. Whole grains are nutrient-rich parts of the grain. Unlike refined grain, whole grains are high in fiber, which can help reduce bad cholesterol and decrease the risk of heart disease. Whole grains include brown rice, rye, barley, buckwheat, and quinoa. Just a tip, when purchasing whole grains, make sure to read the ingredients and look for phrases like whole grain or whole wheat. This indicates a whole grain product, while words like wheat flour or even multi-grain may actually not. Marketing is very tricky with that. Flaxseed is another wonderful source of omegas. It's oftentimes very inexpensive too. So it's a great source of fiber as well, and it's high in omega-3 fats, which can help improve cholesterol profile. 1 ounce of nuts 5 times a week can have a beneficial impact on cholesterol. Nuts have been shown to decrease the risk of heart disease and lower inflammation in the body. 1 ounce of nuts can look like 24 almonds or 15 walnut halves or 15 pecan halves. Consider incorporating almond milk as well daily to get that extra boost of nutrients that are found in nuts. I like to recommend eating raw nuts as opposed to flavored or salted nuts. Tips for keeping nuts fresh is, because of course buying in bulk is always going to be cheaper. So I like to buy nuts in bulk, and then I store them in jars such as mason jars. Shelled nuts can be kept at room temperature for up to 3 months. Shelled or unshelled nuts can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 6 months or in the freezer for a year. Potatoes are rich in potassium, which can, again, help lower the blood pressure, and they're high in fiber, which can also lower the risk of heart disease. To note, potatoes should be eaten in moderation and preferably sweet potatoes. Consuming potatoes for its nutrients does not include fried potatoes, fried potato products, or potato chips. When eating potatoes, it's important to leave that skin on for the added fiber and health benefits. So we all know garlic is famous for its so I'd like to recommend to try to get garlic in at least once a day, whether it's through supplementation, but preferably in food. Same thing with onions, garlic and onions every day in something. Garlic contains many health benefits and can reduce the severity of the common cold and flu. It can also improve blood pressure and reduce LDL cholesterol. Onions are packed with nutrients, including vitamin C and B and potassium. They contain powerful antioxidants and other compounds that help fight inflammation, decrease triglycerides, and reduce cholesterol levels. The potent anti-inflammatory properties found in onions can also reduce blood pressure and protect against blood clots. Some other fruits and veggies I like to recommend for heart health are oranges and apples, pears, bananas, papayas. Figs are amazing for so many reasons. Mandarins, grapefruits, plantains, pineapples, apricots, mangoes, and grapes. And for women, figs have amazing health benefits for women. So just something to keep in mind, ladies. Some vegetables such as bell peppers, cucumbers, broccoli, escarole, cauliflower, tomatoes, celery, eggplant, zucchini, and squash. Some herbs and spices for heart health include rosemary. Rosemary provides many health benefits. It's a powerful antioxidant and can help suppress inflammation, lower blood sugar, subdue allergies, improve blood circulation, and improve certain aspects of type 2 diabetes and hypertension. Cinnamon is very well known for its blood sugar lowering properties. It contains high amount of potent antioxidants. It has an anti-inflammatory effect and can reduce the risk of heart disease and reduce insulin resistance. It also contains antifungal and antibacterial properties, which may help reduce infections and can also actually help fight tooth decay. I like to recommend incorporating cinnamon daily. You can do this by adding it to your tea or your coffee or your smoothies, and it's great to have to help balance that blood sugar first thing in the morning when our blood sugar tends to be at its highest. Some spices such as basil, dill, bay leaves, black pepper, caraway seeds, cayenne pepper, paprika, cloves, nutmeg, curry powder, oregano, parsley, and Italian seasoning are all wonderful to incorporate for heart health. So some tips for incorporating heart-healthy foods into meals. There's lots of ways to incorporate these foods that we were just talking about into your meals. If you're worried about veggies going bad and not wanting to necessarily, buy them in bulk because of that reason, consider cutting them up, rinsing, patting them dry, and storing them in the freezer. This is a great way to be able to have a quick go-to stir fry. Baked dishes or veggies as well, and even scrambled eggs and quiches. It's also much more cost effective to buy fresh veggies as opposed to buying frozen ones and just, cutting them, rinsing them, drying them, and freezing them yourself. So some tips for breakfast to incorporate these foods. A quick and easy berry smoothie with unsweetened yogurt, unsweetened almond milk, and water. A yogurt bowl, again with that unsweetened yogurt, a handful of blueberries and cut strawberries topped with some local honey and cinnamon. This is also really great for allergies as well as we're getting into the springtime because all those ingredients are, especially local honey, really good for helping with allergy symptoms. Scrambled eggs with spinach, onions, garlic, tomatoes, and topped with avocado and olive oil. For kids that tend to be a little bit fussy eaters, I like to recommend adding strawberries, with and I feel like them when they're hard-boiled eggs or some steamed broccoli. For lunch, a grilled chicken. Consider buying a whole chicken and roasting it in the oven. This is a really affordable way to provide a few days worth of lunches. You can also use a chicken to make chicken salad or slices of chicken breast and pair it with tomato, avocado, celery, and olives, and maybe top it with some salt and pepper and olive oil. Salmon salads, the same thing. You can buy a bag of wild frozen salmon at Safeway for, I believe, like $8 for 6 pieces. You can cook that up a bunch at once and store that in the fridge and have it be a quick go-to cold salmon salad for lunch. Also, instead of using salad dressing, just consider using olive oil, fresh lemon, salt, and pepper. Another idea is steamed broccoli bowl and tomatoes, olives, fish, or grilled chicken. And again, topping that with that olive oil and that fresh lemon juice. For dinner, I like to recommend one pot stir fries because you can get a lot of nutrients in and it's really quick and easy dinner option. And it's one pan, so less dishes. You can incorporate some healthy proteins and fibers into a stir fry, such as collard greens and tomatoes and onions and garlic, sweet potatoes, beans, shrimp or chicken. You can also consider making a big batch, again, so that you have it for those leftover lunches. Grilled wild fish, such as salmon, cod, scallops, or shrimp, or grilled chicken, and brown rice and collard greens. And another option for dinner could be a one-pan saute with beans. Beans such as like black beans, white beans, or black-eyed peas are wonderful in sautés. Broccoli, bell peppers, roasted tomatoes, mushrooms, squash, garlic, and onions, and maybe some crumbled feta cheese on the top there. Okay, so a little bit of information about cholesterol and good and bad cholesterol. So cholesterol travels through the blood in packages called lipoproteins. There are two main types of cholesterol. Low density lipoproteins, known as LDL, bad cholesterol. It is believed to significantly raise the risk of heart disease. High density lipoproteins, known as good cholesterol, that HDL cholesterol, is good because it helps remove other forms of cholesterol from the bloodstream and takes it back down to the liver, where it's then broken down and removed from the body. Higher levels of HDL cholesterol are associated also with a lower risk of heart disease. Some foods that help with cholesterol levels, many of these are repeats, but extra virgin olive oil is amazing and a very healthy fat and can help lower inflammation and the impact of HDL cholesterol in the body. Just to note, olive oil should really be consumed raw to be able to get its full health benefits out of it. So instead of necessarily cooking with it, just use it more as like a topper. Or if you are cooking with it, make sure it's at very, very low heat. Beans and legumes are great sources of fiber, especially black beans, black-eyed peas, white beans, kidney beans, and navy beans, and lentils. Fruits high in fiber, again, that avocado, apples, strawberries, raspberries, bananas, and pears are a great way to incorporate high fiber fruit. You can use these fruits to make a smoothie or cut up apples or bananas and pair them with slices and pair them with nut butter, such as peanut butter or almond butter. That's actually also a really great way to incorporate your fiber from your fruit, your healthy fat from your peanut butter, and your protein from your peanut butter. So it's a wonderful go-to snack in the morning to incorporate all those nutrients. Veggies high in fiber, such as carrots, beets, broccoli, artichokes, Brussels sprouts, spinach, and tomatoes and kale. Again, that wild fish, such as that fatty wild fish, such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Nuts, such as Brazil nuts, almonds, pistachios, are all filled with lots of heart-healthy fats. Seeds such as chia seeds are a good source of plant-based omega-3s and fiber as well. Incorporating chia seeds into the diet can help lower LDL cholesterol levels and decrease blood pressure. So some more reasons to incorporate plant foods into the diet are plant sterols. Plant sterols are the components of plants that prevent cholesterol from the gut. Plant sterols will bind the cholesterol within the intestines and prevent it from getting reabsorbed into the body. Then the plant sterols will take that cholesterol out in the stool. As a result of this process, plant sterols can lower cholesterol, and research shows that 2 grams of these a day can lower LDL cholesterol by 10%. You can take these as a supplement, but really you can get them from foods, as long as you're incorporating a lot of vegetables and fruits. Some other foods that are naturally rich in plant sterols besides vegetables and fruits are legumes, beans, nuts, and seeds, and again, that olive oil. I thought gingivitis was important to talk about because gingivitis impacts the risk of heart disease because of its inflammatory properties. So I want to talk about some natural home remedy tips that you can do to help with prevention of gingivitis. Lukewarm saltwater rinses can be very beneficial for keeping those gums, very beneficial for helping gums that are inflamed by gingivitis. They also help soothe inflamed gums, and they reduce bacteria by removing those particles of food. Coconut oil pulling is another great method to do, either at night or in the morning. Coconut oil has anti-inflammatory properties, and using coconut oil for oil pulling can significantly reduce plaque buildup and the signs of gingivitis. For coconut oil pulling, use 1 teaspoon of coconut oil and swish it around in your mouth for about 15 to 20 minutes. After the timer is up, spit the oil out and rinse your mouth with some warm water and then spit that water out, followed by brushing your teeth right after. If you're doing this method, just be really careful not to swallow the oil that's in your mouth, as it contains toxins and bacteria that have been pulled from the tissues of the mouth. So a little bit about metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions and risk factors that raises the risk of health problems such as heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Insulin resilience is one of the #1 causes of heart disease. High levels of insulin have been associated with heart disease, stroke, cancer, and dementia. Getting your insulin levels checked to make sure that you're keeping insulin in the normal range is really important. Research has shown that a level of less than 12 is considered normal for fasting insulin. However, a lower range closer to 5 has been shown to be much more preferable. High fasting insulin is a sign of metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance. Excess belly fat, like we were talking about before, is a sign of potential metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance. Other indications and issues to look out for is if your blood pressure is starting to increase and if your blood pressure is starting to increase, and if your good cholesterol, that HDL cholesterol is too low, such as less than 50 for women or less than 40 for men, can be a sign that there is a problem with insulin resistance. If your triglycerides are too high, this is also a signal. If your blood sugar is starting to get too high, such as greater than 100, this could be a sign that you could be at risk for insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. Consider asking your doctor to check your fasting insulin levels or fasting blood sugar. Inflammation and how it can cause heart disease. Inflammation is another cause of heart disease because it creates an environment for cholesterol to create plaque that creates that blockage and create that plaque that creates blockages that create the disease that causes heart attacks and stroke. One of the ways to help get blood vessels working better is to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Again, this can include a diet that is very low in starch and sugar and refined flour, such again as that white flour. Include lots of plant-rich foods, good quality fats such as avocado oil, again, that olive oil, nut butter, like peanut butter, almond butter, and lots of nuts and seeds. So a little bit about the power of antioxidants. Antioxidants help control, manage, and protect cells from the damage caused by free radicals. The human body has its own antioxidant defense to keep free radicals in check, but free radicals are compounds that cause harm if their levels become too high in the body, and they are linked to multiple illnesses, including diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. The more free radicals made, the less energy is produced because they damage the cell's ability to be able to make energy in that mitochondria. When we eat foods such as sugar, highly processed flour, fast food, and junk food that don't contain antioxidants, we end up producing too many free radicals that destroy our mitochondria, and the result produces fatigue and burnout. Antioxidants can be found in colorful plant foods, again, those fruits and vegetables, of course, and they also contain other important vitamins and minerals. Some of the many plant foods that are loaded with antioxidants include, again, fruit, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and spices. Foods that are typically high in, these foods are also particularly high in fiber. So again, those berries, the sweet potatoes, the carrots, those red and green peppers, spinach, collard greens, artichokes, and kale. And again, the nuts and seeds keep coming up, those walnuts, almonds, pecans, and sunflower seeds, and herbs and spices and teas such as oregano, garlic, parsley, rosemary, cloves, cinnamon, green tea, oolong tea, and white tea. Where to begin to start eating healthier? Changing eating habits can be difficult at first, but starting off by taking unhealthy foods out and subbing them for healthier foods that can be made into a quick meal and snack will make the process much easier. It can also feel motivating to write out goals for improving your health and improving your diet and placing that list on the refrigerator. With so many food selections in the grocery store, shopping can get overwhelming, and this can place you at risk for resorting back to unhealthy food options. A tip to get around this is to create a list of healthy foods you want to start incorporating into your meals before going to the grocery store and trying to stick to that list while at the store. Also, try to shop the parameter of the store first. Fresh fruits and vegetables, fish, meat, and dairy products are often found on those outside aisles of the store, while packaged and processed foods are found in those inner aisles. By avoiding the inner aisles of the grocery store, by avoiding the inner aisles of the grocery store, you're able to grab things like household products and healthy shelf-stable foods like brown rice, quinoa, broth, and make it easier to choose healthy food choices and not get distracted by those unhealthy foods. So basically what I'm saying is, like, when you go to the grocery store, first shop, the outside aisles, and then when it's time to get your household products, go into those inner aisles, then straight to checkout. Keep focused on your health goals and stick to a list. And remember, every time you eat, it truly is an opportunity to nourish your body. There are ways to cook to make foods more heart healthy, and avoiding frying foods is really great because this can introduce extra unhealthy trans fats that are found in vegetable oil, corn oil, and canola oil. Also, always avoiding those oils. Some techniques to cook healthy with your food is to roast it, bake it, and broil it, steam it, and grill it. It really helps preserve those nutrients. So some tips for reducing stress to help promote heart health. Stress can have severe physical effects on the body. Stress has been linked to a wide range of health issues that include disruption of sleep, mood, fatigue, cloudy thinking, depression, anxiety, increased blood pressure, and increased risk for heart disease. Mindfulness exercises such as meditation, deep breathing, yoga can affect blood pressure, inflammation, and oxidative stress in a positive way. It can help to decrease blood pressure, it can help to reduce stress, and redirect thoughts that oftentimes leads to insomnia. These mindfulness exercises can also help to relax the body by releasing tension and therefore helping to optimize sleep. Other ways to de-stress can also just be as simple as taking an Epsom salt bath or an Epsom salt foot soak. This also provides the body with magnesium absorption directly into the bloodstream, which is magnesium is wonderful for helping with joint pain, as well as calming the mind and helping to get the body into the rest and relax state for sleep. It's also very important to incorporate magnesium as much as possible if you have diabetes or prediabetes. You can also go for a hike or a walk in nature and unplug from social media, TV, and just giving yourself a much needed break to help relax the mind. Just shutting everything down. Also, of course, eating healthy foods and staying hydrated, practicing mindfulness exercises, getting that proper sleep, and making time for rest and relaxation can help balance your overall health. But sometimes it can be difficult to prioritize self-care. So empowering yourself with education and motivation to help you to honor your mind-body connection is so important. Another tip could be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal. This could be a great way to gain perspective of what is important to you and what you're grateful for. Journaling can help shift the thought process. It can also help to organize an event or an emotion in the mind and help us to free up that mental processing of experience to help us feel more relaxed and get better quality sleep. The body has an incredible ability to heal itself, but lifestyle, proper sleep, hydration, and nutrition have a huge impact on this. So thank you everybody for your time. I hope you found that helpful.
Thank you, Simone. Does anyone have any questions for Simone about nutrition, promoting health through sleep and inflammation, anything of that sort? If no questions, I am going to move forward to some other healthy habits. Thank you, Simone. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. One moment.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, so healthy habits. For some of you that don't know me, my name is Alana. I am the Spark coordinator for BYA. And so healthy habits, we would be, choosing healthy foods and drinks, get regular physical activity, don't smoke, and limit alcohol. So regular physical activity, exercise strengthens your heart and improves your circulation. The increased blood flow raises the oxygen levels in your body, which then this helps lower your risk of heart disease, such as high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, and heart attack. So this is a list of what physical activity will help with, and overall will make you feel good about yourself. The recommended amount of exercise. You want to work up to at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity. I don't know if you guys were in our diabetes presentation, but I did go over how to measure intensity through an RPE scale. After this, I will put it in the chat if you're interested in reviewing that. And you want to do these exercises each week, about 150 minutes per week. Preferably activities should be, you want to also add strength training, such as resistance bands or weights for at least 2 days per week. These exercises will improve the muscle's ability to draw oxygen from the circulating blood. That reduces the heart to work harder to pump more blood to the muscles. So you also want to increase the amount and intensity gradually over time. You could do maybe 2 weeks of 150 minutes of moderate activity and then slowly increase it. We also want to spend less time sitting. Even light intensity activity can offset some of the risk of being sedentary. Nowadays, we're spending more time at our computer And especially if you have a smartwatch, it may remind you, hey, stand up and move. This usually happens within like every hour. So I recommend standing every hour for at least 3 minutes to stretch, or even want to just take a lap around your house, your apartment, go down the stairs, go walk down the block, whatever will take 3 minutes to get you up. If you have an ergo desk, standing desk, utilize it, definitely. And what type of exercise is right for me? Any type of physical activity is good if it makes your muscles work more than usual. The heart is a muscle and benefits from a workout just like other muscles in your body. So blood pressure. Your risk of high blood pressure increases with age, but getting some exercise can make a big difference. And if your blood pressure is already high, exercise can help you control it. You don't have to get up and run a marathon or join a gym. Instead, start slow and work more physical activity into your daily routine. Regular physical activity makes your heart stronger. A stronger heart can pump more blood with less effort. If your heart can work less to pump, the force on your arteries decreases, which is then lowering your blood pressure. So you can see here, this is a blood pressure chart. You probably have seen it before. Normal is 120/80. The upper number is your systolic blood pressure, which indicates how much pressure your blood is exerting against your artery wall when the heart beats. So the lower number, which is diastolic, indicates how much pressure your blood is exerting against your artery walls while your heart is resting between beats. So watching your heart rate. Before you learn how to calculate and monitor your target training heart rate, you have to know your resting heart rate. So again, we may wear these watches or we have it on our phone. So your resting heart rate is the number of times your heart beats per minute while it's at rest. It's best to check it in the morning once you wake up. That's when you'll get the best reading. So for children 10 years and older and adults, which are including seniors as well, is your resting heart rate can be between 60 to 100 beats per minute. A well-trained athlete, it can be 20 to 60 beats per minute. So what is my target heart rate? It's good to keep track of your heart rate, but don't obsess over it. You can't injure yourself. And what I mean by that is you're running, you're walking, you're constantly looking at your watch. You're probably checking your carotid artery, checking your pulse on your wrist, or checking your phone. So when I say don't obsess over it while you're walking, don't keep checking your heart rate. And I know some may be guilty. You can raise your hand, put in the chat, but definitely be safe. The number one thing is we want you to be safe. So don't obsess over checking your heart rate. So while your blood pressure is the force of blood moving through your blood vessels, your heart rate is the number of times your heart beats per minute. So how you measure your max training or your max heart rate is you take 220 minus your age, and that is your max heart rate. So if you take a 20-year-old, 220 minus 20 is 200 beats per minute. So this is your target heart rate zone. So if that person wanted to work at 50% of their target heart rate, you take the 200 times 0.5, which is 50%, and they'll be working at 100 beats per minute. So when I say don't obsess over looking at your watch and your target heart rate, start to sense how your body feels as you're working out. Then you can know at what zone you're getting at. So when you're comfortable, start to increase your target heart rate zone percentage. And eventually you'll understand, learn your body and know, okay, now I'm working at 70 because my heart rate is at X amount. And you don't even have to look at your watch anymore. But also do remember that Measuring your blood pressure and checking your heart rate are two separate measurements and indicators of health. So for people with high blood pressure, there's no other substitute for measuring blood pressure. It is with the blood pressure cuffs and using a stethoscope, or doing it automatically with a blood pressure cuff. So I do also want to mention warning signs. I know Dr. Carson already went over these very briefly, and so what I'll just mention them real quick. So some heart attacks are sudden and intense, but most start slowly with mild pain or discomfort, chest discomfort. Most heart attacks involve discomfort in the center of their chest that lasts more than a few minutes, or may go away and then return. It can feel like uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness, or pain, and then discomfort in other areas of the upper body. Symptoms can include pain or discomfort in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw, or stomach. Shortness of breath. This can occur with or without chest discomfort. Of course, there's other signs, including breaking out in cold sweat, nausea, lightheadedness. Learning the signs for heart attack, and again, remember, also Dr. Carson mentioned it, call 911. And also, if you're not sure if it's a heart attack, definitely get checked out. See your primary care provider. Another risk factor like that he mentioned is smoking and alcohol. So as smokers increase the amount of exercise and physical activity per week, they tend to quit smoking. Cigarette smoking is the chief cause of preventable disease and death in the US, and can harm nearly any part of the body. Cigarette smoke is a toxic mix of more than 7,000 chemicals, and when inhaled, can interfere with important processes in the body that keep it functioning normally. One of these processes is the delivery of oxygen-rich blood to your heart and the rest of your body. But when you breathe in cigarette smoke, the blood that is distributed to the rest of your body becomes contaminated with chemicals. These chemicals can damage your heart and blood vessels, which can lead to cardiovascular disease, which is again the leading cause of deaths in the US. Alcohol. Heavy drinking, on the other hand, is limited to a number of poor health outcomes, including heart conditions. Excessive alcohol intake can lead to high blood pressure, heart failure, or stroke. Excessive drinking can also contribute to cardiomyopathy, a disorder that affects the heart muscle. So again, limit your alcohol to 1 to 2 drinks per day. And how can I move more for heart benefits? So how can I fit more exercise into your day or become more physically active if you haven't been before? Begin with small starts like these. Park your car at the far end of the parking lot, so you have to walk further to the building's entrance. Choose the stairs rather than the elevator. Spend part of your lunch break walking. And like on bad weather days, try walking indoors. Well, so I read something that says walk in the mall. You can probably do that too. Things are open now. To wake up a bit, you can also wake up a bit earlier and exercise before you do anything else. Use a wearable fitness tracker to count your steps if you can. And then try increasing your daily steps to 500 each week with the goal of reaching 10,000 steps per day, a level that can produce many health benefits. Definitely wanted to keep it short and sweet for you guys. If you have any questions, please unmute or put it in the chat. These are our contact information for Simone and myself. If you have further questions again, or if you have some health topics that you want us to hear about, definitely shoot us an email. Let me see in the chat.